When people think of Istanbul, they usually imagine the Blue Mosque, the Hagia Sophia, and maybe getting some Turkish delight at the Grand Bazaar. But there's actually way more to the city than just the tourist places. I'm going to show you 7 places in the old city that are completely off the tourist radar. Our first place is called Büyük Han, which honestly doesn't look like much. It just looks like a very rundown old building in between some of the shops in the old city. But this is a true relic of the 17th century. It was built by Kozum Sultan, who was one of the most powerful women in Ottoman history. She had this Han built to accommodate traveling merchants from all over the world. Büyükvaldi Han was once a bustling carnavasari, which is basically a massive hotel, an inn, for travelers to rest after their long journey. As I was exploring this place, I was just imagining merchants from Persia, India, Europe, all meeting here, sharing stories and trading goods. This is the kind of place that was kind of like an international airport of the time. And speaking of airports, there's still a reason why people come here today. The rooftop of this place is a local secret, and it has one of the most breathtaking views of the old city. You won't find huge crowds here, hardly anyone is here, and it's the perfect place to just get a very peaceful view of the Bosporus, the Golden Horn, and the Istanbul skyline. The next place is the Süleyman neighborhood, which you might have heard of because of the Süleyman Mosque, but this is a few minutes away in the surrounding area. These little streets are packed with character from colorful Ottoman houses, some beautifully restored, some not so much, but still charmingly worn down. This neighborhood was once for Istanbul's elite, but today it's more of just a peaceful escape from the hustle of modern city life. It feels like a walking museum when you're wandering through these streets. Even though it's kind of in the center of this touristic neighborhood, it does feel very local. You'll see people hanging their laundry outside, kids playing football, and shop owners chatting to their neighbors, relaxing with their chai. But this area really makes Istanbul feel like Istanbul. Now, a little bit further down from the Süleyman neighborhood is Küçük Pazar neighborhood. This is another area that's also not really in the guidebooks, but it's still a good place to check out. The name Küçük Pazar translates to small market, and it is true to its name still because there are many shops here selling a lot of different things. You can find textiles, spices, electronics, metal, wood, everything that you could want, all in these tiny streets. But it's more of just like a local feel. When you walk through these neighborhoods, you'll get a sense of old and new, which is what I really like about Istanbul. You will have shop owners selling more traditional items, and then newer shop owners selling more technologically advanced items from the 21st century. So it definitely gives this neighborhood a very blended atmosphere. The next neighborhood that you should visit in the old city is Zeyrek Mosque and the Zeyrek district. This mosque is one that you shouldn't miss because it was also a Byzantine church, similar to the Hagia Sophia. The Zeyrek Mosque is one of the best preserved examples of Byzantine architecture and is still standing in Istanbul. After the Ottoman conquest, it was turned into a mosque, and today it's still a quiet spot where you can take in the Byzantine architecture and Ottoman influence. The neighborhood surrounding the mosque is also very beautiful with wooden houses and some of the best views of the Golden Horn. The next place that we're going to head to is a cistern, and most people usually think of the Basilica cistern, which is very famous for Medusa's head. But this cistern is just a little bit further down the road, and there is actually no line and it's not crowded at all. It's called Sherife Cistern. The Sherife Cistern was built in the 5th century by Emperor Theodosius II, and it was part of Istanbul's ancient waterway. It's really incredible to think that the Romans were here first before the Ottomans, and they built these incredible waterways that are still standing today. When you go inside the cistern today, it's more of like an art exhibition. It's very visual. There isn't much to explore inside the cistern. It's just kind of a rectangular room. The columns have been reinforced with metal supports. While I was there, they had light visual show of the 100-year anniversary for Turkey, and then also kind of a history of the cistern itself playing on kind of a loop. The whole show was probably about 15 or 20 minutes. If you're wondering about the prices, I'll put that here. At the time of recording this video, it was 650 lira for foreign visitors. However, if you are like me and you are a resident of Istanbul and you are working here as a teacher, or if you are here on a student visa and you're a student, you can get the student discount, which ends up being 50 lira, so much cheaper than 650. The next place we're going to visit on our little adventure in the old city is called Sharkan. And Sharkan is a shopping center similar to the Grand Bazaar, but way less crowded. Sharkan is similar to Valdehan, meaning that it was also kind of an inn for travelers to rest after their long journey. But since then, it's been kind of turned into a shopping mall. Today, when you go inside, there are about 6 levels of shops that you can visit, and they range from leather goods, small artisans, incense, more modern items like sunglasses, picture frames, but still it feels very much alive with artisan craft work. You can find a lot of stuff here that is definitely way cheaper than many things that you will find in the Grand Bazaar, and it feels very local. There are hardly any tourists here. Definitely make sure you're following Google Maps when you are coming here because it's definitely easy to miss. Now, the last stop on this exploration of the old city is once again a cistern, but this one is actually free. This cistern is called Gülhan Cistern, which is located in Gülhan Park, which is next to Topkapi Palace. This cistern is probably the most unknown. It doesn't have any line, it's not crowded at all, and it is probably one of the smallest cisterns that you can visit in Istanbul. The cistern is said to have been used for the palace, so sultans used to get their water from here, which is kind of cool to think about. Currently, if you visit Gülhan Cistern, it is used as an art exhibition for some sculpture work. There is still water at the bottom of the cistern, but it is very shallow and it's covered by the grate that you walk on. So the whole floor is kind of raised on this grate that everyone walks on when you're in the cistern. And that brings us to the end of the video. So there you have it, 7 places in the old city that you probably didn't know about, but now you can explore with some extra information, especially if you are a history buff. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, let me know which place you're looking forward to visiting next time you're in Istanbul. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for coming along on this adventure.